At this point, you've mastered a skill, you've generated cash flow, you've built a distribution network, and now you need to monetize. You need to make sales and you need to make money. So monetization is a little bit unique because realistically, throughout the entire process of building our business, we should be trying our best to generate sales. That's the whole point of your business in the first place, especially considering you're a bootstrap business and your sales are quite literally the lifeblood of your company surviving. However, this step goes after distribution intentionally. And the reason is that once you build an audience around your ideas, around your services and your products, your ability to generate sales is significantly going to increase. It's going to be much easier for you to make sales and to generate new revenues. So I like to use an example when thinking about this process and thinking about why we put distribution first. Whereas most people would think the first thing I need to do is make a product or I need to make a service. And sure, you want to always have a good product and a good service, but there's a reason why building your audience is in many cases more important than totally ironing out what it is that you're actually selling. So let's imagine you have a friend. We'll call this friend Jim. And Jim has an idea for a new kitchen appliance. And he spends lots of money to get some templates made of his product. And then, of course, he has to file for patents. And he has to create some manufacturing ability so that he can make his products, at mass. Okay, and so 7 months into his process, he's spent $100,000 and he has a prototype. He has a template. Well, now what, right? Now all of a sudden he spent all this money. He's this far into the hole and there's nobody to sell his product to. He doesn't even know if there's a demand for his product or not. Now let's take it from the other perspective. Let's imagine that Jim is a chef. There's got to be a reason why he had this idea for a kitchen product in the first place. So let's say he's just passionate about food and cooking and about cooking ware and knives and pots and pans and all that stuff. And he decides to create distribution. So he starts a blog, he starts some social media channels, he starts to build a following, he starts to get to know his audience. He's got a weekly newsletter that he sends out that has some new appliances and some new products to get released. And through, let's say, 6 or 9 months of creating content and building a distribution, he builds an audience. He's got a couple of thousand followers. And more importantly, he knows that there is a demand for the product that he's trying to create. Now, if he's going to spend the money to go through this process to create his product, or even if he's going to spend the money and the time to create a service-based business, he is confident through data and through relationships of his distribution that when he releases his product or his service into the market, that it's going to sell, right? And so that process of taking the 6 to 9 months of being patient and creating a following and creating an audience and creating a distribution network is actually really, really, really important because, let's remember, through the whole time, it would be best if Jim was able to make some sales. Let's even imagine that through his blog, he was making some money with affiliate products and he was giving reviews about some kitchen appliances and he was giving reviews about different kind of knives and other utensils and stuff around that industry. Well, through that whole experience, he's going to be able to collect data. He's going to be able to understand what it is that people are really, really interested in. And so even through the process of monetization, through his learning a skill, through his generating cash flow, right, through those first couple of steps as he's monetizing, he may not be really monetizing to the extent that he wants to be, but that act of selling is actually data points. He's learning about what his audience and his followers are truly, truly interested in. And so now instead of just creating the product and the vision or the service that like he has in his mind, he's able to take the data and create the product or the service that he knows people are actually interested in. And this is a much, much better process in order to increase your probability of success, because that's what you want. You want to increase your chances that your product or your service is really, really going to sell, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here, right? Like we're building a bootstrap business so that we don't owe anybody any money, so that we have freedom and utility of our time and our decisions. And so by being patient and following this process, he's actually putting himself in a much better position because he knows his product or service is really, there's a demand for it in the marketplace. Great. I hope you understand that. If you have any questions, please leave a question in the comment. And let's move on to the last video, which is how to scale your business.